Saturday Night is the brand new movie that just hit theaters over a week ago. This movie tells the story of the opening night of now the 50 season long show of Saturday Night Live, something that's been a part of pop culture and on NBC now, as I said, for over 50 years. And this takes place really the first 90 minutes, but leading into 11:30 50 years ago. The film stars Gabriel LaBelle in the leading role as Lorne Michaels, the producer and creator of Saturday Night Live. Among the main cast, basically going through his life of trying to get this show that no one has ever heard of before. All of these famous actors were not famous at the time, and how he has to work his way into getting the show live on air on that very night. Also part of the main cast, Rachel Sennett plays Rosie Schuster, Lauren's wife, who's also one of the head writers for the show. Among of the main cast members of the original SNL cast, you have Chevy Chase, who's played by Corey Michael Smith, Gilda Radner, played by Ella Hunt, Dan Aykroyd is played by Dylan O'Brien. Matt Wood is played by Matt Wood plays John Belushi, and Lamorne Morris plays Garrett Morris. Also in the movie is Finn Wolfhard as an NBC person who's trying to sell tickets to the show. You also have Nicholas Braun as both Andy Kaufman and Jim Henson. Among the NBC brass in the movie, you also have Willem Dafoe, who's the head of talent at NBC, and J.K. Simmons plays an old legend of television in the late 1950s, 60s, and 70s. The film is an hour and 47 minutes long and is rated R. Welcome back to a brand new review here at Max Talks Movies. My name is Max Dinenberg. We're talking about Saturday Night. So if you're new to the channel, please subscribe, ring that bell if you're new to the channel. Also, please comment down below. I respond to every single comment. So first of all, did you like the movie? Did you not like the movie? Let me know your general thoughts. Should this film be important in award season? Let me know in the comment section down below. Also, if you're new, subscribe and ring that bell for notifications. I do out-of-theater reactions, movie reviews, TV show reviews, a box office show every single week, as well as movie franchise rankings. So please subscribe and ring that bell if you're new to the channel. Also, please like the video. It helps the YouTube algorithm out by you guys supporting the channel by liking the video. So I was not hearing amazing things for this movie, which got kind of tempered my expectations on this film. I love Jason Reitman as a filmmaker. This cast has a lot of the young crop of talent that will be taking over Hollywood. Already basically have, but start to really majorly take over Hollywood, I think, in the next 5 to 10 years. So it's a mixture of an established director, and also I have grown up now. Obviously, it's been on for 50 years. I'm clearly not 50 years old, but really since I started being into the entertainment business, I've religiously watched SNL. I still watch SNL every single Saturday night when it is on, and it's been embroiled in my life my entire life. So to see the origins of it and seeing how the first broadcast came to be interested me. So let's get into my thoughts on this film. And overall, this is a blast of a movie. This was one of the most fun. This is what it should be when you go to the movies, I think. It's just for an hour and 45 minutes, just having honestly a great time in the theater, because there's two really good things going on here, which is that the energy is always at a high for this film. That's because of the chaotic nature of putting together an episode of Saturday Night Live. The chaos of this, the first show, how are you going to fit all these people onto an hour and a half of live television? I don't think people realize, I'll tell you my generation, don't realize how mind-blowing of an idea this was. At the time, yes, there were late night talk shows, but certainly not sketches, and certainly not sketches from not famous people. As I just said, Chevy Chase, Dan Aykroyd, Gilda Radner, John Belushi, Jim Henson. These are all famous legends now, but back then they were all in their early 20s trying to break it into the business on an NBC show where NBC was looking for a show to fill. And that's what, sorry, I forgot to mention his name in the credits. Cooper Hoffman plays, is one of the kind of the middle people in between Lorne and NBC. And obviously, Lorne Michaels is a legend to this day, but this movie has a lot of chaotic, high energy nature to it because these are very flamboyant, creative people that have very distinct personalities. And there's a couple things that bring that out. The first is very slick filmmaking from Jason Reitman, who is an excellent filmmaker. Again, if you're not familiar with his work, his last movie was 2021's Ghostbusters Afterlife. But before that, he's done really great movies like Tully, Young Adult, Up in the Air, and Juno. And this is some really slick filmmaking. It really does put you back in the late 70s, not just with really great production design and costumes, but just the way Reitman films the movie. It's just a gorgeous film that has a great pacing to it, which is helped by his writing collaborator in Gil Kenan. Also, this might be the most well-casted film of the entire year. And that is tough because, again, while these actors, a lot of them have already made some major splashes in Hollywood, this is still very much like the original SNL cast, young actors trying to make it very big in Hollywood. And a lot of these performances are going to stick. The major standouts, now Gabriel LaBelle does play Lorne Michaels. He is excellent in the film. And you really feel the movie does a great job of putting you in his head when all these people need his attention. Not just the cast members, but writers, lighting team, producers, NBC Teds. There's so many people that need his attention. And when you're put into this spot, you have 90 minutes before the show starts, and he has to accomplish so much just for the show to start. That's not even seeing if the show is going to be a good show or not. And LaBelle does a great job commanding the movie as well. But from a big standout perspective, the two major standouts were Dylan O'Brien, who plays Dan Aykroyd, and Corey Michael Smith, who just perfectly casted as young Chevy Chase, not just with the looks, but also the mannerisms. They don't portray everyone in the greatest of light, which I think is really important to do in a movie like this. But Dylan O'Brien was the most entertaining part of the movie. I just reviewed Caddo Lake, but what a great run of movies for him as of late. And he is the standout in this movie. He brings so much energy, but also at the same time feels like Dan Aykroyd. And the good news is these cast members don't feel like they're doing an SNL-like impression of their true life counterparts. They actually feel like the people. I think that's rare to see. And with this movie portraying so many legends at once, that was great. Cooper Hoffman is a really great actor. Obviously, he'll just keep being referred to as being in the family of Philip Seymour Hoffman. But the moment that he gives this long rant to Lorne, which you kind of see a snippet of in the trailer, the moment that scene happens, the movie hits a really high gear. The last 40 minutes of this movie is awesome. And the exact kind of movie that I wanted to see. I definitely enjoyed myself the first two acts, but I understood the criticisms that the film was getting when I was watching the first hour of the movie. But the last 40 minutes for me absolutely delivered. It's extremely satisfying. It's funny, it has a lot of heart to it as well, because you also feel like you're helping put this show together. Again, there's so many. Rachel Sennett is really strong in this movie. I'm a big fan of Rachel Sennett. Lamorne Morris has a couple good moments. There's also a lot of great callbacks. Things the movie set up in the beginning acts that get really nice payoffs in the third act that I really enjoyed as well. Now, from a negative perspective, as I said, the movie kind of felt a weird way to say it, storyless the first hour, because the reason why I also came to see this movie was I wanted to see how, first of all, anyone in their right mind from NBC would want to air the show. And those questions just weren't being answered until the last 40 minutes. So the first hour, I was enjoying myself, but I kind of felt pointless with what the movie was trying to do, because it just felt like they were trying to make an SNL movie because SNL currently is on its 50th season. Our 50th anniversary, excuse me. So the first hour, I was enjoying myself. I love the cast that they got for this movie. It looked great, but from a story, I just didn't feel this movie was necessary. And the movie, once I said Cooper Hoffman delivers that really powerful monologue to Lorne Michaels, the whole movie shifted with a lot of story momentum kind of out of the blue. And I do wish in the first hour it felt like there was a bit more story kind of going on, more reasoning and more questions answered earlier in the movie. I think it does take way too long to get into the actual story element and the origin story of the actual show. But that is my one major issue with the movie. But overall, this is a blast of a movie that I actually can't wait to watch again. It's very watchable. It's tons of fun with high energy and one of the best casts assembled of 2024. So I am going to give Saturday Night a 4 out of 5 stars and 82%. What are your thoughts on this movie? Let me know in the comment section down below. Like the video, subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next one.